the scheming girl secretly sabotaged the female lead's fashion design work. Little did she know that this scene was all captured by the surveillance camera. The scheming girl said, "Why should a good-for-nothing compete with me?" It turned out that the global design competition was being held at that moment. In order to win, the scheming girl deliberately damaged the girl's entry for the competition. And the girl knew how important this competition was to her, so she wouldn't allow any mistakes. After watching the surveillance video, the girl blinked her eyes, already having come up with a countermeasure in her mind. At this time, the scheming girl was confidently introducing her entry on stage and received unanimous praise from the judges. They all thought it was a very appealing design work, and the judges gave it a score of 9.2, the highest so far in the competition. At this moment, the scheming girl was feeling extremely smug, thinking that victory was in her grasp. She sneered at the girl, saying, "No matter how well you draw, you'll never beat me, neither in works nor in men." Next, it was the turn of the last contestant, the female lead, to take the stage. Even though the woman knew that her work had been destroyed, she still pretended to be unaware and came up to introduce it. Looking at the design draft on the big screen, she also received unanimous praise from the judges. But the scheming girl mocked the girl at this moment, saying, "Let's see how you're going to handle this later." When the host was about to unveil the work for synchronous display, there was an uproar in the audience because all they saw was a pile of rags. The host announced that the female lead's work had been destroyed and that they would investigate the reason later, but the competition would continue. So the host asked the female lead if she had any other works to enter the competition. The female lead replied that she didn't, but she proposed to repair the work on the spot. However, repairing the work would not only take a lot of time but also seemed unfair to the other contestants. The judges in the audience immediately started discussing among themselves. The scheming girl was the first to object. She claimed that the rules couldn't be broken for just one person, which would be unfair to the other contestants. Moreover, she said it was unknown how long it would take her to repair this dress. Were they supposed to wait for her? Many judges also agreed with this view. They thought that this pile of rags couldn't even be considered a complete work, and repairing it would require a huge amount of energy and time, as well as testing the designer's adaptability. Just when everyone thought that the female lead would be eliminated, the female lead made an astonishing statement. She said that the competition had allotted 45 minutes for each contestant to display and explain their works, and there were still 30 minutes left. She was confident that she could complete the repair within this time. The judges found the female lead's words unbelievable. In order to the opportunity, the female lead proposed a bet. The scheming girl's boyfriend asked her scornfully what the bet was. The female lead said that she would bet that she could transform this dress completely within 30 minutes, achieving an effect no less than that of the design draft. The scheming girl's boyfriend laughed at the female lead, saying that she was out of her mind. He thought that with just that pile of rags, it was impossible to repair it within 30 minutes, let alone make a new one from scratch. The female lead firmly stated that she would be responsible for what she said and asked the other party if they were afraid to bet. The scheming girl was fanning the flames on the side, saying that her boyfriend was just afraid that the female lead would lose face. The boyfriend also responded that he was afraid that the female lead would be unable to get down from the stage. And he questioned what capital the female lead had to bet with him, considering that she was penniless at the moment. At this time, the president stepped forward and proposed to bet with the position of the heir of the Yen family. The female lead quickly stopped him, but the president affectionately said that he believed in the female lead. The scheming girl's boyfriend agreed. He said that if the female lead won, he would withdraw from the heir competition and go abroad to study. If she lost, the Yen family would belong to him, and he required the female lead to be removed from the Yen family register and never come back. The president agreed. The female lead looked at the president and promised that she would succeed. The host was about to start the countdown, but the female lead asked to wait for a moment. Because every designer had their own unique skills that couldn't be disclosed, she requested to do the repair in an isolated space. The host agreed. The female lead whispered to the president to ask how the things he had been asked to prepare earlier were going. The president said that everything was ready. Then the assistant took out a box. The female lead took the box and walked into the curtain to start repairing the work, and the host also started the countdown simultaneously. Inside the curtain, the female lead was nervously repairing the work with her skillful techniques. Time passed by minute by minute. The audience was also discussing animatedly below. They thought that this competition was really full of family feuds among the rich and powerful, and they didn't believe that the female lead could turn that pile of torn cloth strips into a new dress within such a short time. They thought that the female lead was being too impulsive. The scheming girl was also a bit worried and asked her boyfriend if the female lead could really succeed. Her boyfriend, however, thought that even if the female lead had the ability, it was a pipe dream to repair it successfully within such a short time. Maybe she was just showing off. The two of them were still fantasizing about the wonderful scene after winning the inheritance rights and driving away the female lead and the president. Soon, the host announced that the time was up and asked the female lead to display her work. The scheming girl mocked, "You only have this one work now, and it's still covered with a ragged cloth. You must not have repaired it well and are afraid to let everyone see." The female lead responded that it was the sense of ceremony for a designer. The scheming girl's boyfriend impatiently told the female lead not to be so mysterious and to quickly uncover the cloth. The female lead said that those who open champagne halfway through are usually the losers, and then asked the host to uncover the cloth. When the cloth was uncovered, everyone was shocked. The work was so beautiful, just like a phoenix rising from the ashes. The judges were full of praise. They praised it as a miracle, thinking that the manuscript was already perfect, but they didn't expect that the reborn work was even more stunning. They even said that this was not simply a repair but an artistic rebirth. Subsequently, the judges gave the female lead a full score of 10 points. The host announced that the female lead had obtained the only full score in the whole competition and also won the championship of this competition, as well as the opportunity to cooperate with Master West. The scheming girl and her boyfriend were furious and were about to leave when they were stopped by the female lead. The female lead questioned them about the incident of slashing her dress earlier. The scheming girl flatly denied it and even accused the female lead of slandering her. Just when everyone was discussing animatedly, the female lead opened the big screen, on which the whole process of the scheming girl destroying the work was being played. After the truth was revealed, Master Judge said that he had always thought that the work was like the character of the person. He didn't expect that the scheming girl who designed such a good work was such a shameful person. He, in the name of the organizer of the design competition, cancelled the scheming girl's entry qualification and announced that in the future, projects and companies related to him would no longer cooperate with her. Such malicious competition behavior could never be tolerated. The scheming girl and her boyfriend were about to leave again when they were stopped by the female lead. The female lead asked Master West when they would fulfill their bet. The scheming girl argued that the female lead had already got the championship in the project, and she herself had been cancelled from the competition. What else did she want? The female lead said that the championship and the project were obtained by her own strength, while the scheming girl was cancelled from the competition because of malicious competition, breaking the rules and being a sore loser. The scheming girl became furious and wanted to hit the female lead, but was stopped by the president. At this time, the president received a call from his father. He finally warned the scheming girl's boyfriend that if he targeted the female lead again, he would bear the consequences. At the same time, he asked him to tell Chaozhen not to take advantage of the female lead again, otherwise he would bear the consequences. After that, he took the female lead and left. In the next scene, in a restaurant, a rich young lady said to the president, "It's been 10 years. Do you miss me?" The president was a bit surprised by her sudden appearance. The rich young lady mentioned the agreement 10 years ago, saying that the president had promised to marry her 10 years later. The president, however, said that he had already said 10 years ago that he would not marry her and that he was already married. The rich young lady was extremely shocked and couldn't believe it all. She had always regarded the president as her spiritual pillar and thought that the president would keep his promise. The president explained that her brother had died to protect him. At that time, he had said that he would protect her and that after 10 years she could choose to become a daughter of the Yin family or make her own way in the world, but he had not said that he would marry her. The rich young lady's emotions were a bit agitated. The president thought that she needed to calm down and was about to leave when the rich young lady grabbed him and asked him to talk about his wife's story. This scene happened to be seen by the female lead. The female lead thought to herself, "They are so close. This rich young lady should be the president's mistress." She felt inexplicably sad and realized that she might have fallen in love with the president, but they were originally just a fake couple. After that, the rich young lady found the scheming girl's boyfriend and proposed a cooperation. The goal was to make the female lead completely disgraced so that they could both get what they wanted. The scheming girl was a bit puzzled. The rich young lady said that the boyfriend wanted the inheritance rights of the Yin family, and she wanted the female lead to disappear. Their goals were the same. The scheming girl's boyfriend asked if it was for the president. The rich young lady admitted it, saying that as long as she could be with the president, she didn't mind if the president had nothing, but the prerequisite was that the female lead must disappear. The scheming girl and her boyfriend looked at each other and smiled, reaching a cooperation. On the other side, the female lead was still feeling restless because of the scene she had seen just now. The president asked her with concern if she was nervous about the upcoming West release conference. The female lead said that there was no problem. The president asked her to go and rest first as he still had things to do. The female lead was going to get her computer to go inside and read the manuscript, but she found that her computer had been stolen. Although she had confirmed that the design manuscript was okay and checked the surveillance but found nothing unusual, she was still a bit worried. The president asked if she needed help. The female lead refused. The female lead felt a bit sad. The better the president treated her, the more she felt that she couldn't do without him. After hesitating for a while, she asked the president what his relationship with the rich young lady was. The president smiled and answered that the rich young lady was the sister of a good friend. At this time, the president's phone rang, interrupting their conversation. After her mood eased a bit, the female lead started to assign work to her subordinates and encouraged everyone to make the final preparations. However, an accident occurred at the release conference. After Master spoke on stage, he invited the female lead to come up and explain the Nirvana series of clothing to everyone. The female lead happily shared with everyone the joy of cooperating with the international top design master and welcomed everyone's questions. A journalist asked the female lead if the Nirvana series was her original work. The female lead gave a positive answer. But then the journalist pointed out that the Rebirth series released by the Rui Studio was exactly the same as the Nirvana series, and it was released an hour earlier. The journalist asked the female lead how she could explain this. The female lead didn't know that her work had been plagiarized, registered, and released early, and the sales volume had already reached tens of millions. There was an uproar at the scene. The journalists were asking one after another if this was a plagiarism scandal and also questioning whether the female lead's getting the project of Master West was related to the president. The female lead suspected that the Rui studio had deliberately released it early to provoke. At this time, the scheming girl walked onto the stage and accused the female lead of speaking without evidence and not being able to slander casually. The female lead, however, said that she had evidence, leaving the story in suspense here.